Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to hike the Three Sisters Falls, which is back there. We're in a remote part of Cleveland National Forest, in my opinion one of the most beautiful parts of Cleveland National Forest, and this is a really popular hike because it's three falls, three sisters, three falls, but really beautiful, really cool spot. Sorry for the wind, it's just what it is, but it's 4 miles out and back. The drive here is a challenge in itself, but most people can just do it in a regular car if you take it slow. I'll talk about all of that stuff on the website on HikingGuy.com, so make sure you visit that before you come here. You can just Google Hiking Guy, Three Sisters Falls, and find the guide. And because it's such a beautiful area, I'm going to throw in an optional extension to this up to Eagle Peak, which is a really dramatic peak in the middle of this area. Welcome to outside. But anyway, Eagle Peak, fun extension. If you have the fitness, I'd recommend doing that as well. Now, if you're liking the video, if you could do me a favor and click a little thumbs up, it helps me out a ton. And thank you for everyone who supported me. I really appreciate it. It helps the website keep going. So thank you. Anyway, let's hit the trail so I can show you what this hike is all about.
All right, so there's a big parking area, but this is a really popular hike, so it does fill up quickly. But if you come here early like I did, it's usually pretty empty. There's a heat stroke sign because people don't prepare. They come here in flip-flops and no water. You get that crowd here sometimes. But anyway, we're going to go right from the trailhead straight down the path. There's some little trails, dirt roads off to the right-hand side. We're going to skip those. Keep going straight here at the beginning until we get to the gate, which we are going to go through. Once you go through here, it's a little bit easier in terms of following the trails. It's a little confusing in the beginning with all the dirt roads coming together, but we're basically heading straight down this ridge. Now when we get to these oaks, there's some little use trails over to viewpoints on the left. You can check those out if you like, but otherwise we're going to keep going straight, and you can see the views are pretty incredible as we go down here. We're going to continue to descend. That bump straight ahead is Eagle Peak. If you want to go there, I'll show you how to do that. But otherwise, as we go down, if you look down towards the left, you're going to be able to see the Three Sisters Falls from up here. And we'll be able to see that several times as we descend down towards them. So that's part of the fun of the hike. Now when we get to this post, we're going to make the hard left and start heading downhill towards the falls. If we want to go to Eagle Peak, we go straight. When we come back up, if you do want to go to Eagle Peak, you're going to go straight back there. But right now, we're going to start heading downhill, down along the ridge. And like I said before, you're going to get some nice views down. You can see the trail going down there, down towards the fall, and the trail in front of you. Really nice trail. This trail used to be a little bit different, but the Forest Service changed it around. Now at this point, we're going to get down to Sheep Camp Creek, and we're going to cross over the creek, which was dry today. And you're just going to cross over and then follow the creek downhill a little bit. Unfortunately, people have tagged rocks and stuff. That's just, I guess, the price you pay for a popular hike. But as we go down along the creek here, the fauna definitely changes, way more lush. And we go along the creek, and then we have a small little uphill where we come back out to a plateau. Now at this plateau, you're going to make the hard left. There are some trails up to the right, but we're going to make the hard left and keep going down and around, down towards Three Sisters Falls down there. And there you can see we get a great view of the falls. This is probably the best way to see all three of the falls in that little range. When you get close, you can't really see all three of them at the same time. And again, you can see the trail sort of unfolding in front of you. This has all been rebuilt by the Forest Service. Really great. Now when you get to the bottom, you're going to be going along Boulder Creek, which is right there. And you can kind of see them poking out there. That's the lower fall. But this is not a crazy scramble or anything. There's definitely a trail, and you can see the trail here. It's just very rocky. You might have to step up a few rocks. There's the fall, lower fall in front of us right there. And then eventually we're going to come out to Three Sisters Falls, and here's the lower part right there. Really nice. It's kind of a medium flow now. I've seen it, flowing more than this, and I've also seen it pretty dry. But you can walk across the granite, just be careful, to the middle fall. And this is probably the most popular one. There's a little pool here that people take a dip in once in a while. And if you want to get up to the third one, it's kind of sketch. The Forest Service doesn't recommend it, but I'll leave you up to your own devices if you'd like to do that, but just be careful. And when you're done, of course, you have to climb back out. You can see the trail stretching up the hillside there. It's kind of like a Grand Canyon thing where you have to go back up after going downhill, so it can be tougher. And as you go up, that's Eagle Peak. If we want to go there, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But we're going to continue to climb up here. And when you get back to this junction, you can go back to the parking lot to the right. That's where we came down. But if you want to do the Eagle Creek extension, Eagle Peak, Eagle Creek, I think, is the luggage company. Eagle Peak extension, we're just going to make a left here. And the trail winds around. You're going to get some great views down into the canyon where Boulder Creek was. That's the creek that flows out from Three Sisters Falls. There's Eagle Peak in front of us, but we're actually going to kind of twist around to the right. And we're going to follow that ridge up to the peak. So we're going to go around to the right. It's not a straight shot to the peak. Go around to the right and sort of follow the ridge up, which makes it a little bit easier, I think, to do the climb. There's Gower in the distance, that mountain. But when we get to the bottom, there's a little bit of a downhill. We're going to go through another lush area here. So there's a little bit of a downhill, a little bit of a lush area. And then we're going to start the final climb up to the peak. In the beginning, it's pretty mellow. There's some sort of loose switchbacks over here as we go up. And then there's definitely steep sections like this where we're climbing up a very rocky path. The path is definitely easy to follow the whole way, and as you go up, you're going to get some great views down here into the canyon where Boulder Creek is, and over to the surrounding peaks over here. We're going to keep going up. Now, when you get up to the top, there are several false summits. At this point, it kind of looks like it dead ends. You don't want to go off to the left. You want to go to the right here and kind of cross over to the middle of this ridge or plateau. Also worth noting is that sometimes they close this area off because falcons and other raptors will nest here. And I put a link to the page on the website that tells you whether it's closed or not. So check out the guide. But here you can see we've crested the ridge, and that's the false peak. And then there's another false peak in front of us. But we're basically going to go straight here, and we're going to start getting some great views. You can see north up to San Jacinto and over to the peaks of Mission Park. Here you can see another little false peak as we continue, but at this point, we're almost there. Just a little bit more. And when you come to this pile of rocks, and I know there's a lot of piles of rocks, but usually there's a cairn or a marking on top like this one. And also you can see the USGS Summit survey marker that was put there in 1939 and is still there. And here are these great views from up here. You can see El Cajon, Iron Mountain, the peaks over there in Mission, Woodson, and then all the way up to San Jacinto. And when you're done, you just turn around and start hiking back the way you came. And at that junction, just go straight through and you'll head back to the parking lot. If you stick around for a second, I'll show you what this hike looks like on a map. All right, so here we are. The purple line is the trail down to Three Sisters, and this dark blue one is the one up to Eagle Peak. From the parking area right here, I mentioned there was a turnoff and another road. Here you can see the little loop. We're just going to go to the end of the lot, go down, go straight through the gate, and then follow it. It's a little bit downhill. If I go around like this and show you, you can kind of see it's gradually downhill until we get to this junction where the post was, which is where we make that hard left. And then we start heading down the side of the hill right here. Here we cross Sheep Camp Creek right there. This is the part that was a little bit lush. Remember all those trees that were there? Then we have a little climb up to this other little hillside here, and then right back down the side. Falls are over here. As we make our way down, we get down to this point about here, and then we climb up. This was the section of trail that was rocky. We came out here. These were the lower falls. These were the middle falls where you could walk up and see them. And again, if you want to climb up to the upper falls, it's not recommended. There's not a path there. You definitely have to climb and probably take some risks, so I would advise against it. But, you know, people will do what they do. Now, when we're done with this, if we want to go to Eagle Peak, let's swing it around. Here we are. You can see we have to climb back up all the way back up the canyon to get up here. We're going to come back up to the post. And again, if you want to go back to the lot, you just go back over to the right. But otherwise, we're going to follow this along the ridge. And this was that part where we came around the bends and we do that little turn off to the right. We bend around. We have a little bit of a climb and then a little bit of a downhill right here. And this was that wooded part. And then we have the steep climb up to Eagle Peak. Now, when we get up to Eagle Peak, you can see the commanding views that we get. I mentioned that it was closed sometimes because raptors nest here. They usually nest on this part of the mountain because it's like a steep cliff, a rocky cliff. I know some people do rock climbing over here, so they close it. So check out that alert. But this has a really commanding view. That's the San Diego River. If you've ever done Cedar Creek Falls, it's right down over here. And when you hike from Cedar Creek Falls, you can see Eagle Peak. If I swing this around from the start of the Cedar Creek Falls trail over here, you'll be able to really see what a commanding peak this is. This is the peak right there. As you go down Cedar Creek, you can see this sort of commanding the canyon over here. But anyway, that's the hike. Definitely give it a try. It's one of my favorites down here. So well worth the kind of trek to get to the middle of nowhere trailhead that it has. But anyway, guys, have fun, and I will see you out there.